Hey everyone, it's Deb here from Locked Up with History, Twisted History and Geelong Jail Museum. Today is the 19th of April 2025, and 195 years ago today, Mary MacLachlan became the first woman to be put to death in Tasmania. Now, if you've came along to one of the Criminal Outsider presentations that Roy and I did over in Adelaide, you would have heard me talk a little bit about Mary's story. Mary's story affected me quite a lot because I feel like she was completely and utterly shut down during her own lifetime. And I want to give her a voice again, even though it is nearly 200 years later. Mary was executed for the infanticide of a baby boy while she was in the female factory at the Cascades. She had initially been a domestic servant for a Scottish landowner who owned quite a considerable amount of property down at Coal River. When she became pregnant, she was hauled up before the superintendent of convicts and would end up back in the female factory. She gave birth there in November 1829 as a C-class prisoner in the bathrooms. The body of the baby boy was found in the sinks a little while later. It went to court and unfortunately she was convicted of murder. Now, it's important to understand at this time there was a change in sort of feeling around women who had been found with infants dead not long after birth. And it was believed that a lot of them were given the benefit of the doubt, so it would be charged as concealment of birth, which wasn't a felony and did not carry the death penalty. Unfortunately for Mary, that wasn't the case. It did go to the Executive Council and Governor Arthur Phillip did give her a chance to have a say. Unfortunately, a gentleman that he sent to interview Mary, was a business partner of the man, I believe, who impregnated her. So unfortunately, Mary was sentenced to death. She wanted quite strongly to announce who her seducer was on the gallows. She was talked out of that by the minister, and instead to tell the sheriff before she went out to have her life finished. The other part, which is important to understand at this time period, is that a woman who would be sentenced to be executed at this time would also be sent to be anatomized. And that's what happened to Mary. Probably the most sad part of this story for me is knowing how religion played a major part in their lives at this time, is the fact that after 3 days of doing what they wanted to Mary's body, is that she was basically thrown in a hole at St. David's Cemetery without any religious service. Mary MacLachlan's story is a very important part of history. She's one of only 25 women who were executed in Australia, and I think it's important to remember their stories. The other important thing for me is that it's important to look at what happened in the realms of what laws were present at that time. Although what happened to Mary 195 years ago is absolutely horrific to our 21st century sensibilities, the laws and how society was at that time is what led to her death. But I like to remember Mary MacLachlan on this, the 195th anniversary of her death.